Good evening. When we strive to become better than we are, everything around us becomes better too. Welcome to BMC News Live in English, brought to you by Al Hilal Hospital and Medical Centers. I am Vinod Narayanan, joining you with the daily news updates. Today's headlines.
Ramadan gift for Royal Humanitarian Foundation sponsored families. Bahrain approved free multiple entry visa privilege. Strict inspections urged on food prices during Ramadan. Private firms in Saudi to be heavily fined for lack of health insurance. Russia-Ukraine conflict increases food insecurity globally.
News in detail. Ramadan gift for Royal Humanitarian Foundation sponsored families. His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa yesterday extended Ramadan gifts to more than 11,000 orphans and widows. His Majesty ordered the disbursement of the annual aid to the Royal Humanitarian Foundation sponsored families, marking Ramadan, which will start early next month. Bahrain approved free multiple entry visa privilege. Businessmen, traders, investors and their family members who are traveling to Bahrain through King Fahd Causeway could now get free multi-entry visas. People who have a valid entry visa to one of the GCC countries are eligible for the new visa. A free visa holder should have to stay in the kingdom for 30 days but could extend that further to similar periods without any fees. Workers serving the families of businessmen, traders and investors who have multi-entry visas are also eligible to receive these visas given they are traveling with them. Strict inspection surged on food prices during Ramadan. MPs have urged the government to intensify inspections at markets to ensure prices of food remain stable during Ramadan. 5 MPs led by Bahrainization Committee Chairman Ibrahim Al-Nafei submitted an urgent proposal yesterday calling for tough action against rogue traders who have allegedly pushed up the prices of staples, citing the Ukraine war. Public prosecutor highlighted Bahrain's efforts to combat money laundering and terror finance. A major conference highlighting judicial cooperation in the Middle East and North Africa combat money laundering and terror-related finance opened today in the Kingdom of Bahrain. Addressing the event, public prosecutor Dr. Ali bin Fadl Al Buyanin highlighted Bahrain's efforts to combat money laundering and terror financing crimes. He noted that the conference reflected Bahrain's advanced international standing thanks to its legislative and institutional system, as well as successes in combating money laundering and terror finance that pose a threat to country's security and economic stability. Chief of Public Security took part in Anti-Corruption Forum. Chief of Public Security Lieutenant General Tariq Al-Hassan participated in the meetings of the Arab Forum to reinforce international anti-corruption cooperation in the Saudi capital, Riyadh. Lieutenant General Ali Hassan highlighted Bahrain's remarkable regional and international achievements in its fight against corruption and affirmed the importance of such meetings in reinforcing the exchange of anti-corruption expertise and successful experiences. The forum included 3 sessions that focused on prompting joint Arab work and efforts to promote integrity and combat corruption. Al-Hassan and President of the Saudi National Anti-Corruption Commission, Mazen Al-Koumaus, signed a memorandum of understanding. U.S. Congress delegation visited Representatives Council. The Representatives Council received today a delegation from the U.S. Congress in line with the directives of its Speaker, Fawzia bint Abdullah Zainal, to promote cooperation and coordination with the parliaments of brotherly and friendly countries. The delegation attended part of the 25th regular session of the Representatives Council and got informed about Bahrain's legislative and parliamentary experience through an induction show on the Council's achievements. The U.S. Congress delegation held a meeting with MPs Ali Ishaki and Fatima Abbas and discussed with them ways to boosting diplomatic parliamentary relations and exchanging experiences. The meeting cast light on Bahrain's efforts to promote the culture of dialogue, tolerance and coexistence under the Comprehensive Development March and the reform of democratic project of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa. Bahrain Garden Club honored annual flower and vegetable competition winners. The Bahrain Garden Club today announced the winners of the 56th edition of the annual flower and vegetable competition. The honoring ceremony was attended by Sheikha Maryam bint Isa Al Khalifa, Secretary General of the National Initiative for Agricultural Development, and Japanese ambassador, the club board members, and the winners. In her welcoming remarks, BGC chairperson Zahra Abdul Malik praised the continuous support of Her Royal Highness Princess Sabika bint Ibrahim Al Khalifa, wife of His Majesty the King and NIAD Advisory Board chairperson, and her continued interest in the development of the agricultural sector in Bahrain. BIC offered 30% discount on F1 Bahrain Grand Prix 2023 tickets. Bahrain International Circuit announced today the launch of a fantastic 30% discount on tickets to the 2023 edition of the Formula One Gulf Air Bahrain Grand Prix. This offer is available for a limited period, only until April 8th. Main grandstand tickets, originally costing BD 165 apiece, can now be bought for BD 115.5. Battleco grandstand tickets at BD 130 each are now available at BD 91, while Turn 1 tickets are reduced from BD 110 to BD 77 apiece. Tickets to both the University and Victory grandstands, both originally costing BD 65, are now BD 45.5 each for adults. Weather alert: windy weekend weather forecast in Bahrain. Bahrain is bracing for another windy weekend, triggering the Directorate of Meteorology at the Transportation and Telecommunications Ministry to issue a weather warning. Northwest winds tomorrow evening will turn into strong gusts with rising sand and intermittent dust haze on Friday, it said. Today's COVID updates.
COVID updates brought to you by Al Hilal Hospital and Medical Centers.
Bahrain Parliament delegation and Indian Parliament delegation discussed cooperation. A delegation from the Parliament participating in the Inter-Parliamentary Union's 144th Assembly met with a delegation from the Indian Parliament in Bali. Shura Council First Deputy Chairman Jamal Muhammad Fakhru represented the delegation. The delegation noted that the growing Bahraini-Indian relations reflect the leadership's keenness to strengthen the economic cooperation, trade exchange, and exchange of experiences in various fields. The Indian delegation praised the friendly relations and cooperation between the two countries. Bahrain praised UAE's economic growth. The permanent representative of the Kingdom of Bahrain to the United Nations and the World Trade Organization in Geneva, Ambassador Dr. Yusuf Abdul Karim Buchiri, issued a national statement in the context of the work of the fourth review of the trade policy of the United Arab Emirates at the World Trade Organization in Geneva. The Kingdom of Bahrain welcomed the positive transformations and economic growth witnessed by the UAE, especially within the framework of the country's Centennial Vision 2071. It praised the UAE's implementation of many initiatives within the framework of its National Agenda 2021, which resulted in an improvement through many economic indicators and significant progress in promoting a stronger and more resilient economy that will accelerate the global economic recovery from the pandemic. Al Hilal Healthcare Group celebrates Mother's Day across the branches. Al Hilal Healthcare has always shown compassion towards motherhood. Even the group was successful in celebrating Mother's Day by showing love to the mothers and upcoming mothers with the tagline, "We give birth to new mothers." On the 21st of March 2022, the Al Hilal Healthcare Group celebrated Mother's Day across their branches. The gynecology and pediatric patients were treated with flowers along with free gynecology consultation coupons, free pediatric consultation coupons, and free mini comprehensive checkup coupons. Al Hilal also organized a video with the testimonials of mothers who had given birth in Al Hilal Hospital over a while. They were also treated with free consultation and free body checkup vouchers along with a hamper and flowers. As part of Mother's Day, Al Hilal offers 9 months antenatal package for just BD 120. They are also running a contest on social media platforms of Instagram and Facebook, from which the lucky winners will be drawn. Index Bahrain distributes books for the academic year 2022. As like in the yesteryears, Index Bahrain is doing the collection and distribution of used books in this year too. Due to the current pandemic situation, this time, Index will be doing this noble mission by utilizing online platform and by adhering to all COVID-19 protocols. Priority will be given to those who have already registered in Index website www.indexbahrain.com. Index Bahrain is arranging and providing used books without being destroyed after every academic years. The support for this lofty goal from the student community and the public is tremendous and was well appreciated too. In comparison to the previous years, a lot of difficulties were faced in the last year due to the pandemic situation. Those who would like to contribute or take part in this activity are requested to deposit their books in the drop boxes kept at the Indian Club, BKS, Ayyappa Temple, Kanu Garden, Gurudeva Social Society, or coordinate with the office bearers of Index Bahrain in 36754440 or 66390713. In the yesteryears before the pandemic, Index Bahrain distributed school uniforms to those families who are facing severe financial issues. Index Bahrain plans to restart the same, expecting that the academic year may come back to its normalcy. For making use of this facility for the deserving, please coordinate with the office bearers of Index in these numbers 39855197 or 36800676. Now we will be back after a very short break.
The branch of Megamart and Macromart supermarkets in Bahrain has opened in Sahala. The best offers are available to the customers at affordable rates. Everyone is welcome. During and around the opening day, a variety of fish including salmon, meat and dairy products, roastery, frozen items, food and non-food items, groceries, fruits and vegetables, electronics, garments and ready-to-eat food items are available to the customers at affordable rates. Hearty welcome to all. Megamart and Macromart, your favorite shopping destination.
Welcome back. Private firms in Saudi to be heavily fined for lack of health insurance. Saudi Arabia has stated that up to Saudi Riyal 20,000 in fine would be slapped on private firms per employee if they fail to make available health insurance service. The erring companies and establishments with 51 or more workers shall have to pay a fine amounting to a maximum of Saudi Riyal 20,000 for each worker who is in the category of A but did not have insurance. The maximum fine will be BD 5,000 per worker for category B in establishments with number of workers between 11 and 50 and Saudi Riyal 2,000 per worker for category C at establishments with 10 or less workers. Saudi Arabia interested in hosting future MotoGP race. Saudi Arabia wants to add MotoGP to the list of World Championship motorsport events it already hosts. The kingdom was already the home of motorsport in the region with an all-electric Formula E Championship and Dakar Rally as well as Extreme E. It is hosting 3 FIA World Championship events and is looking at more in the future. Kuwait announced cabinet reshuffle. Kuwaiti Government Communications Center Chairman and Government Spokesman Tariq Al-Masri announced a cabinet shake-up decree. The decree appointed Dr. Mohammed Al-Faris as Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Oil and Minister of State for Cabinet Affairs, and Sheikh Dr. Ahmed Nasser Al-Muhammad Al-Sabah as Minister of Foreign Affairs. Kuwait News Agency reported. The decree also appointed Ali Al-Mousa as Minister of Public Works and Minister of Electricity, Water and Renewable Energy, and Mohammed Al-Rachi as Minister of State of National Affairs and Minister of State for Youth Affairs, Al-Masram said in a tweet. Hajj and Umrah Services Conference and Exhibition discussed ways to assess pilgrim services performances. Saudi Arabia's Under Secretary of the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah for Visit Affairs, Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman Al Bijawi, said that serving the pilgrims is an honor for the kingdom, its government and its people, and they are always keen on early planning for it with scientific methods and all potential to ensure the best results. He was speaking at a session devoted to measuring and analyzing the performance of services provided to pilgrims on the second day of the Hajj and Umrah Services Conference and Exhibition held in Jeddah. The ministry has a vast technical system that processes all the procedures of pilgrims and Umrah performers and their providers, he added. Russia-Ukraine conflict increases food security globally. Farmers around the world are growing enough wheat to feed everyone, but wheat is becoming more and more expensive, and it isn't growing where it is needed. Since Russia announced its grain export ban last week, prices have once again skyrocketed. Many countries are fearing famine and protests sparked by a lack of food. Moscow's temporary ban on exports of wheat, barley, rye, and other grains is expected to last until at least the end of June. The current crisis has been seen that the countries heavily dependent on Russian and Ukrainian imports have failed to invest in their own production and rural development. More than 1,000 small earthquakes hit Portuguese volcanic island. Around 1,100 small earthquakes have rattled one of Portugal's mid-Atlantic volcanic islands in less than 48 hours, prompting authorities to activate an emergency plan as experts assess what they have described as a seismic crisis. Rui Marques, head of the Azores Archipelago's Seismo Volcanic Surveillance Center, CIVISA, told Reuters on Monday the earthquakes with a magnitude ranging from 1.9 to 3.3 had been recorded on the island of São Jorge since Saturday afternoon, Reuters reported. Heavy rains in China halt search for airplane crash victims. Heavy rain in southern China on Wednesday halted the search for victims, and flight information recorded in the black boxes that could tell why a China Eastern Airlines passenger flight plunged into a mountainside 2 days earlier with 132 people on board. Rainwater was filling the depression in the soft soil caused by the impact of the crash. There were risks of landslides, torrents, and high winds as conditions deteriorated in the mountains of the region. The wet weather was forecast to last for the rest of the week. The cause of the crash is yet to be determined, with aviation authorities warning that their investigation would be very difficult because of the severe damage to the aircraft. With that, we come to the end of today's news. Stay tuned for daily news updates in BMC News Live English at 7:30 p.m. every day. I'm Vinod Narayanan signing off from BMC News Live. Good night.